Welcome to Nature's Glory Cabin Off-Road. Today we are finishing up part 404 of the POV series on the north side of the DBBB. This is FS1085 / Brushy Fork, recorded on September the 20th, 2024. Again, we're doing a bunch of under the front bumper camera and rear camera. Today we're going to show the map here where we came out of Kendrick Ridge Road and went all the way out. And this is the full loop. We do it counterclockwise. Went to the far right first and then back around back to 460. Now this will show us a little more about where we started and where we ended up. This is about 10 miles from Kendrick Ridge Road on 460 to the start of the trail. And then this next one will be the trail all the way out to 460 west, where we head back toward Frenchburg and go our separate ways. So we're going to jump into this, and we're going to show a picture here where we are at the beginning of the trail. There's the three of us in the green JL, Sherry in the blue JK, and Jimmy in the maroon red TJ. I sped this up just a little at the beginning here because this has been graded now, and it's much smoother. You can see there's gravel on it, and this goes down probably for 100 yards or so. There is a wash starting on the left. We'll probably end up with a rough spot. There it was. You saw me go over it. This is the correct way to do this, counterclockwise. Go all the way out and do it counterclockwise. This hill here gets rutted out when people do it in the opposite direction, and it causes trail maintenance, and that trail maintenance is not cheap. So let's try to take care of everything so it'll be available for everybody else to use. And we're still going on down through here. This is the rear camera, as you can still see, and it's still sped up a little bit. Not a lot going on this end. The first half of it's pretty smooth. There were a few, little ruts here and there that got cleared out when they did the trail maintenance. So this was pretty easy. This first half is very easy. It's probably, a 2-3. There are some holes on the other side of Brushy Fork where we go up the hill that has some pretty deep holes in them that can be challenging if you're running smaller tires. Here we are getting ready to cross the creek, and if there's enough water, this would be a high water cross. And you can see here how they've got it concrete in the where there would be water if it was coming. You can see it on the back behind the Jeep, and nothing in it right now. This is again September. It was very dry summer, so we didn't have much water. So enjoy, and I'll step back in here when I get a chance and mention a few more things. One thing worth mentioning here is that we are back to real-time speed. None of this has been sped up, so for the entire rest of this video, everything will be real-time. And you can see here, this is that creek crossing from that lower front camera under the front bumper here. So I just thought I would mention that so you realize the speed difference. Even though that lower camera looks fast, it's not. It's real-time. This is what used to be a rocky hill climb. It wasn't difficult, but it was an interesting little place. If you look off to the left, you can see a bunch of rocks over there. Well, they were cleared out during maintenance of the trail. I believe, though, over time, when water gets into this, it's going to end up with some more rocks because it looks like there's still some more there. So we might get a little rock climb back, but right now it's pretty smooth and pretty easy. Again, this first half, all the way up to the high water crossing, there wasn't any water in it. There's probably a 2 or 3. We're going to get over here to some spots that's going to be more like a 3, 4, maybe a 5, depending on how you're equipped. We've got some water holes that are a little deeper, and we've got some mud holes when we go up on top of the hill that are extremely deep. I say extremely. They knocked the front camera off. They're a little hard to get in and out of. They knocked the front camera off on one. You'll see that. I left that in, and I did speed that up here so you can just see the part of the camera before I straightened it back out. So enjoy. This trail over here is actually pretty wild. It doesn't get a lot of traffic on it, so the brush tends to grow into the trail quite a bit more than you would see over on the Slade side. It gets a lot more traffic. A lot of folks don't come all the way out and ride on these trails as much, although they're fairly easy and they're a good ride. You start off on Spas Creek and go all the way over here, make a full day out of it, and head back Pumpkin Hollow if you're equipped well enough to do all that, and that'll give you a full day. These four we did here, or we just stayed on the north side on this day, and we were got plenty of time out. We were out for quite a while on this day. So again, that's a good way to extend your day if you end up starting out on Slade side and come across, and then you can work your way back at the end of the day. This mud hole right here can be very deep depending on the time of year. If you notice off to the left, there's a lake there. We're going to show this from the front bumper camera in the rear as well. It's not very deep on this day, but I have had it 2 feet or more deep. So it can get pretty deep because, again, it's an extension of the lake over on that left side. So when that lake or pond, whatever you want to call it, comes up, it can also flow over into this. You can see this camera is about 18 inches off the ground here, about the center of the axle on those 37-inch tires. So I'm above the water pretty good with the camera here, probably a good 4 or 5 inches. And you can see there that when it gets deep, it will be deep. This mud hole coming up here, you'll notice that the camera goes briefly underwater. That shows you how deep that one is. That's just a regular old mud hole, and it can be deeper than this too, because it was, again, dry on this day. There's quite a few little mud holes back through here. Shouldn't cause you any real trouble though. Down on the bottom here, we go up the hill, we get to those. I will mention those as well. If you saw that curve where we came around and up the hill, well, now we're up the hill. This is where we're going to see some of the deeper, sharper mud holes that are more sharp than anything else. You drop in, there might be a good drop off at the beginning or a climb out at the end. These are a little harder. Some of them you can get around and go a little off camber and do a little better. And you'll see a little bit here. I'm dropping down into one now. And that back camera is about 2 feet off the ground, about 24 inches. That was the top of the back bumpers where that one's at. And you'll watch as we see other people come through it here. It's a drop in. You could have got off to the a little bit off camber. See how it dropped in there? And she's coming out of that hole. There's another one or two here in a minute where when I go into it, a real sharp angle going down into it, it knocks the front camera off. But again, that front camera is fairly well exposed and hanging down under the front bumper. So when we get there, I'll talk about that a little bit. Alright, here we're coming up on the camera getting knocked off. It'll be sped up after we hit it. I just want to show you, see how sharp we get in this. It's going to hit that dirt right there, boom, and it knocked the camera off. That camera is mounted with a magnetic mount as well as a cable tie tether on it holding it in place. And I sped this way up. It let it hang there for a while. And as you can see, it just twisted around. I didn't see any reason to play that real time because that lasted a while. And eventually discovered it, figured I better check on it. I got out and got the camera, righted it, and we were on our way. As we get to the end here, there's one last water crossing. This can be deep at times. Again, it was dry this summer, so wasn't a whole lot of water in it. It's a nice little place here. We always stop at the bottom and go ahead and air up as we need to, because once we come out of here, we're done, and then we go on and head off and head toward Highway 460W, and then we end up going to our separate ways. So here that is from the rear. Notice there's a little barn back there. It'll kind of help you know where you're at when you get there. So I hope everybody's enjoyed this, and we'll see you out there on the trails. Thanks for watching.